Welcome back! In this video, we're going to use the process assessment tool to calculate the automation score for a more complex real-world example. Let's get started. This time, Taylor's boss has asked them to assess the commercial loan application process for one of their banking clients. To start things off, Taylor analyzes the process with the help of Harper and Frankie, who work on it. Then Taylor proceeds to list down the steps involved in the process. Here's what they come up with. As step 1, businesses submit their commercial loan applications through an online platform or in person at a financial institution. The initial screening of the application is the next step. In this step, a loan officer, say Harper, takes a closer look at the application to ensure they meet the institution's basic requirements, such as the minimum credit score, required financial documents, and appropriate loan purpose. Once done, the next step is financial analysis, where Harper performs a thorough analysis of the applicant's business, including evaluating financial statements, cash flow projections, and existing debt obligations. Basically, Harper wants to make sure that the business is a solid candidate for a loan, and that they're likely to pay back the money they're borrowing. The next step is the most challenging, assessing the risk involved in granting the loan. For this, Harper has to consider factors such as the business's credit history, industry, growth potential, and collateral. It's kind of like a financial checkup to see if the business is in good shape. It's a tough job, but Harper isn't alone in this. They can consult with colleagues or industry experts for additional input on specific industries or market conditions as it involves some tough decision-making. If the loan application meets the financial institution's risk tolerance and credit criteria, Harper can grant the preliminary approval and determine the proposed terms of the loan. This can include the interest rate and repayment schedule. Assuming the loan gets the preliminary approval, the next step is the internal review process. Harper forwards the loan application along with their analysis and proposed terms to a credit committee or senior loan officer, like Frankie, for further evaluation. Frankie now takes a better look at the application and considers the overall risk exposure of the financial institution, including the current loan portfolio and any potential concentration risks. To make this decision, they may consult with other committee members or senior management for guidance. After all, it is always better to have multiple perspectives when a lot of factors are involved, and it comes to taking complex decisions like this. To get the final approval on the loan, we just need Frankie and Harper to be on the same page. They'll also take a quick look to make sure the application meets all the risk management guidelines. If everything checks out, they'll approve the loan. Now that the loan is approved, Harper coordinates with the applicant to finalize the loan agreement, disperse the funds, and set up the repayment schedule. In the last step, Harper and Frankie monitor the performance of the loan, including timely repayments and the borrower's financial health, to ensure ongoing risk management and inform future lending decisions. Now that Taylor has gathered the process steps, they start inputting the data in the tool. In the first row, Taylor enters the input type. Taylor has to tell the tool what kind of data they're dealing with. In this example, the data can be considered digital and unstructured, as this process requires uploading various documents that might not follow a standard structure. Taylor knows they can always refer to the explanation column to get more information on the question. In the next row, Taylor has to put in the possibility of the process changing in the next 6 months. The process can undergo a few changes based on regulatory changes and economic conditions. Other than that, it seems stable, so he goes with no change expected. Alright, moving on to the next question. What is the application's stability? Will the application or documents change in the next 6 months? No, they'll definitely not change. So here again, Taylor enters as no change expected. We'll move to the next section, benefits. This process is currently done by 2 employees, Harper and Frankie, and it's something they do every day. As for transaction volume, Harper and Frankie process 10 applications on average per week, so Taylor types that in. Also, it takes about an average of 80 minutes per application. Taylor ensures that the value is in minutes and types that in. Fantastic! Note that this is a process that can be streamlined over multiple days, weeks, or even months. And for human errors, we'll assume a 5% chance of mistakes happening. Alright. Next, how do we characterize the peaks of the process? According to Harper and Franke, the peaks happen rarely but are predictable though. They experience a surge during winter holidays or during yearly closing that lasts for days or even weeks in a row, increasing the utilization of the team by more than 20%. Taylor is now in the process complexity section. This process has quite a few steps to be performed, more than 40 steps. Even though there are just 10 main steps, within each of these main steps there might be several smaller tasks or sub-steps that need to be completed. To the next question on how difficult the decisions are to take to complete the process, Taylor recalls that there are multiple steps involving complex decision-making and types in that. Alright, the next question is about how often Harper and Franke run into issues that stop them from completing the entire process. According to Taylor's data, on average, 20% of the applications get stalled. The reason is that either Harper and Franke require input from a different person, end up in a situation that is not covered by a clear rule, or even because their client has a situation that stalls the process. Harper and Franke use more than 5 applications to complete the process, and they don't need to access them through virtual machines. So Taylor records in the tool that there are more than 5 applications involved and no virtual machines are required. Taylor's now reached the last section in the process assessment tool. The process's associated data is all digital. Therefore, they can mark that as 100%. Furthermore, they can confirm that none of the inputs have been scanned. For the last question, Taylor knows that the majority of the data that Harper and Franke work with has a defined structure and resides in set fields, therefore can be classified as structured data. They believe that structured data makes up for 40 to 60% of the input data. It's time for the results. Based on our process assessment tool, it looks like implementing automation could lead to some great improvements and efficiencies. The tool suggests that the effort required to implement the automation is high, but the benefits are medium to high. Overall, this means we can expect moderate improvements from automating the process. Moreover, the ease of development suggests that the process would require professional expertise. It might be a good idea to submit this automation idea to the COE. The great news is that automating this process frees up 1,317 man-hours per year, which is a huge win. Harper and Franke now only need to participate in the most important steps of the process, such as reviews, complex decision-making, and final approvals. The more tedious tasks would be taken care of by robots. Plus, the error reduction rate would be 38%, which is a solid improvement that would significantly boost the overall accuracy and reliability of the process. Taylor is excited to share the results with his boss and can't wait to see the robots put the R in ROI. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching.